and 40 nights.
Hi guys, welcome to day 12 of the Lenten Challenge, and we're back with me, Rev Moses, and trying to figure out what we're going to talk about next. And today I was given, well, past couple of days actually, but I've been thinking about this one because it came my way, a really interesting question. But before we get to the question, I want to just start off with a little edit. Lately I've noticed a lot of my times have been a minute or almost two. So what I'm going to say now, I'm not changing much. I'm not ditching my challenge. I'm not doing any of that. But I'm going to recognize that I think I'm going to edit it just a little to say I'm going to try to do it under a minute, but no more than two. Okay? So try for a minute, and it kind of goes over. It won't be so bad. But try for a minute, and then no more than two. That's my new challenge, even though it's the same challenge, because I've noticed what's been going on. Your questions are great. It takes a lot of time to answer them. But with that in mind, too, I also want to say that somebody also mentioned, your videos aren't a minute long. So what's up with that? Well, this preamble part takes a minute. Like we're at a minute right now. So, only the part with the actual question is timed. So the rest of the video is just me chatting. So, sorry. Anyway. So with all that in mind, today's question, I'm going to make it a two-parter because it's a pretty big question, but both parts will qualify for a different piece to this bigger question. How it was worded to me was this. It basically, somebody said, well, come on now. Could Satan really tempt Jesus? He was the Son of God. If he was out in the desert being tempted, Satan wasn't going to win anyway, right? So that was the way it was phrased to me. So I took that whole sentence and kind of shrunk it into a question that kind of has two parts. The question at the root of what that big sentence was is, could Satan, the devil, really tempt Jesus? Or did Satan really tempt Jesus? That's the question. Did Satan really tempt Jesus? Is that possible? And did it really happen? So the two parts of it is, I could keep it short. I could do it right now. I could just tell you, yes, he did. And that's it. That's the answer. It's in scripture. So yeah, he did it. But I'm going to go a little bit deeper than that. Okay. So there's two parts to it. Did he? And the kind of how of it. So those are the two parts. So we're going to start the timer today with the did he part. Did Satan really do that for the 40 days? Okay. So here we go. Let's start. Yes, he did. It's in the scriptures 3 times in 3 out of 4 of the Gospels. And in the Gospel of John, which is the only one that didn't really talk about the 40 days in the wilderness, those same temptations still came up. And for those of you who don't know, Satan specifically tempted him with 3 big things that are named, specifically in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, and kind of mentioned in Mark, sort of. But the 3 big things were bread, food. He tempted him turn this stone into bread. He tempted him with, I could give you all the kingdoms in the world if you just promise to serve me. And then the other one, which is, and there are all sorts of orders to these 3 questions, but the third one was he brings him to the top of the highest tower of the temple, and he says, throw yourself down. Angels will catch you before you hit the floor. That's your power, right? You're the Son of God. And because he even quotes scripture at him saying, God would never let that happen. He'd never let you get hurt. And then Jesus turns around and says, you never put God to the test. But anyway. Those are the 3 big ones, and they are named in the scripture, so it actually happened. And even though it doesn't happen in all 4 of the Gospels, those 3 temptations are mentioned in John in different places, where he's tempted to do things in a similar way that are to prove who he is, or to prove that he has magic powers, superpowers, and to prove that he is the Son of God when he doesn't or shouldn't yet. So those things do happen. And and the reason Satan is doing these things is he wants him to give up his privileges. He wants to basically take over, and so he's trying to get the Son of God to admit either A, that he is super being, as much as he is human, and to use that to his advantage, and B, because if he did, he would prove that the Son of God is fallible, which means, fancy word for, can be tricked, can be tempted, can be undone. All right, bit longer than usual, but there it is. 1:57. So for my 2-minute mark, I did it. So yeah. So that's part one of our two-part question, because I answered the first part, which is, did it happen? Yeah, it did. And to be a bit more clear about that, the reason it had to happen is twofold as well. Because Satan had plans. Satan had ideas of what he wanted. But I'll get into that tomorrow. So part two of this, what I found to be a two-part question is, did it happen? Sure. But did it happen, and why did it need to, kind of a thing, is what I'll touch on tomorrow. So anyway, guys, stay safe, pray safe, and part two tomorrow for day 13.